All right, all right. I think we're ready. So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us here at the Los Angeles Film School. Once again, my name is Rafael Soto, and I am an international rep here at the Los Angeles Film School. I'm also a writer-director from the Bronx, which is why I'm so excited to be moderating tonight's event with LAFS' own 2020 Spotlight inductee, Osmani Rodriguez. Welcome, Oz.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And for those of you that don't know, Oz has worked on more than 50 episodes of Saturday Night Live
More than
and
100. Sorry, more than 100.
over 100. And he got an Emmy for directing the Creating Saturday Night Live, which documents like the behind the scenes of making the show. He's also directed episodes of Last Man on Earth, Mixed-ish, Shrill, AP Bio, to name a few. And most recently, the reason that we're here, he directed Vampires versus the Bronx, which he also co-wrote alongside Blaze Hemingway. So welcome, Mr. Oz. How are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. Very excited to talk to you guys.
Yeah, we are too. So let's jump right in it. What was that? Where did you come up with this idea?
I came up with it. I remember it was December 2016. I was at a crossroads of my life professionally. I was working. I used to direct with my friend Matt Valines, who also studied at LA Film School. We met at LA Film School, and we started directing together. And he had recently passed away, and so I had to go at it alone. And also, it was December 2016, so it was a month after the election. So I felt like really inspired to write a story that represented me and had people that looked like me on the screen because of that event. In December 2016, I remembered Matt and I also we always talked about an idea with vampires and vampires owning a building. So I think I used all those things that were swirling in my brain, and I also wanted to tell a story about Dominicans living in New York City because I'm from the Dominican Republic. Right. And talking to Dominicans that live in New York City, a lot of them live in Washington Heights, or that is the community, but all their stories are very similar about how that neighborhood is changing and gentrification is here, and everybody kept saying they're sucking the culture out of the neighborhood, and it's easy to make that connection to vampires.
Yeah.
So, and the Bronx has a big Dominican community too, and it felt like that was sort of the last spark, because it's almost like the last frontier as far as gentrification. And I wanted to tell a story not show the effects of gentrification, which is, you see that a lot of, like, oh, the coffee shop opened, whatever. I wanted to show the community before such things happen, just to showcase that this community is worth looking at and interesting, and there could be heroes that come out of this community.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. How long did it take you to write this thing? Once you got the idea, you got with your writer.
So I wrote like a treatment first, and it was my first attempt at writing. I've been directing for a while, so I felt like I wanted to tell a story like the movies I saw growing up, like Lost Boys and Goonies.
Yeah.
And I didn't really see those out there, so I felt like I have to write it, I guess. So it was kind of scary. I didn't really know what I was doing, so I wrote a treatment and shared it with a few people, and actually off the treatment, I shared it with Lorne Michaels, and he responded to it, and Dad made me want to write the script. So it took me about a year to write the script, and it was all different degrees of not great. So yeah, I had a screenplay, and I got Norm Michaels to say yes, and get excited. So we sort of started developing
Sorry to
it.
interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt. You want to tell everybody who Lauren is? I know who he is, but I don't think they do.
Lord Michaels is the producer and creator of Saturday Night Live, and also has produced movies, but is mainly known for making up SNL. So, he's a big player, big dude.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he was into the idea, and so then I connected with Blaze Hemingway, who is a screenwriter, and he helped me tremendously. We figured out how to make this more of a screenplay for a movie and with better structure. So he was really helpful in helping with the structure. But yeah, it all came from me wanting to tell my own story. So I sort of threw myself into it, not really knowing what the hell I was doing, but got Lauren excited.
That's awesome. As a Latino and somebody who's trying to break into, the industry as well, there's a lot of no's. Latinos are still trying to make their way in this industry. So I'm wondering, how difficult was it to actually get it made, or was it not because you had Lauren on your side?
I think having Lauren on the side was very easy, very helpful. I got very lucky in helping, in getting people interested in the movie because he's attached. I think that helps.
Yeah.
Get a movie greenlit, and I think that his help there was instrumental.
Mm-hmm.
But it got greenlit with the idea of it's going to be a cheap movie that we're going to shoot in the Bronx and in New York City, and I wanted to use a lot of Dominican actors, and at that point there was no Zoe Saldana, so everybody sort of said yes to this movie based on Lauren, because I wasn't coming in with crazy huge stars. But yeah, then it was tough to cast. It was tough to we had 25 shooting days, so a month.
Wow,
basically.
25. Okay.
And we were shooting with kids, so kids can only shoot 9.5 hours a day. And then we were dumb enough to try to do this in the summer where the sun goes down at 8:30 or some shit. Oh, some stuff. Sorry. So yeah, we had it was really tough. It was a very challenging shoot, and we wanted to cast kids that the casting was hard because I wanted to cast the main kid. I wanted him to be Dominican. I wanted Luis to be a Puerto Rican. So specifics or asks, and then I also wanted them to be not green new actors. I wanted them to have some experience because it was going to be such a crazy shoot that it's not like a place where you sort of break someone and find an experiment.
One thing that I noticed about the three actors, the two Latino boys in particular, is the way they spoke, their accent. They weren't like a caricature of the Bronx. Yo, you know what I'm saying and all of that. I'm from the Bronx. Mm-hmm. I know what I hear. These kids sounded different. They sounded educated, like they've read books. Maybe they were an honor roll student. Was this done on purpose? You wanted them to sound like that?
I didn't think about it like that. I more thought about it just the characters, this character is like this and this other character is like that. Not necessarily I think the guy, Kid Mero, who plays the bodeguero, he's from the Bronx, so he sort of brought his spin to the character and made it his own. So but yeah, I mean, ultimately Luis is a kid who's into books and a quote unquote nerd, but I think the Bronx has everything. So it doesn't have everybody likes comic books and anime and all that. So I didn't even think about that. I think I just wanted to make the characters as interesting as possible.
Got you. How did the kids, from what you wrote to the audition to what they brought to the screen, was it dramatically different? Was it exactly what you envisioned?
Well, no, I mean, I think the kids were, it was really cool once we did the first chemistry read. It was really great to see them together. Luis is a really funny, he's really funny and improvise a couple lines and stuff. So, and then Gloria, Imani Lewis with the Glow TV, she was incredible. And like at some point, I was like, you're doing. She was improvising great stuff. I was like, just write this yourself. Like you were doing better than I'm doing. And
Yeah.
we added scenes for her. So yeah, it was sort of an exploration with everyone because I had so many different types of actors. Like there's these kids that like didn't have a lot of experience or starting up, and like Shea Wiggum is a character that's done a bunch of movies,
Yeah.
and Kid Merrill is his first movie, I think. So
Okay.
yeah, it was very interesting. Uh, Not even challenge. You just sort of have to adapt how you communicate with each actor to get what you need.
Yeah. How did you get Method Man to be a priest?
That's awesome. I met him for another role, and then he's like, "Well, what about Father Jackson?" I was like, "Okay, great, we're done. Yes, let's
Wow.
go." It was so quick. Like
Yeah.
I almost felt bad that he like came to the office all the way to like. I'm like, this meeting's the quickest meeting ever because like that is a great idea.
I actually have to double take, pause it, and then go to IMDb to make sure that I wasn't hallucinating. That was really cool. And then Zoe, you got
Yeah, I met. I'm sorry. What was that?
Zoe. You got Zoe in there. That was really cool. Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, Zoe did me a Dominican favor because I shunned the Dominican flag bat signal, and I just sent her a letter and told her what the project was and myself, and it all worked out. She was in New York. She had like a day that worked out in New York City, and she came down, and she's from New York, so it was awesome for her to be back, and she's Dominican, so it was really fun for her to play that character and speak some Dominican Spanish. So
Yeah,
that was crazy. I still don't believe it. It's
that was
insane.
awesome. That was the Drew Barrymore on Scream, scene. She opened it, so that was really great. Um, because you shot on location, it wasn't really on a sound stage, and a lot of your shots were outside. I'm from the Bronx. It is rowdy. It is noisy. How did you do it with sound? I mean, just from a technical standpoint, I don't know how you close all those streets. Like, I don't. Wow.
Uh, I mean, at a certain point, you just go with it. Like, yes, it was a challenge. It was a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a challenge. Sometimes you were able to shut some things down, and sometimes you're just like, well, I mean, the car is driving in the shot, so it makes sense that it's
Sure.
honking. It honked over a line.
Yeah.
No, but it was interesting. It was interesting. That it was yeah. But also like in people really responded to us and were excited about it and like really kind of like hung out with us on set. Like so many kids were just hanging out with us. So it was really cool to like have the Bronx or that part of the Bronx
Hmm.
welcome us, and so it felt really great. Like especially once they asked like, "What are you filming?" We're like, "Vampires versus the Bronx." We're like, what?
So,
And then their first question was, "Who wins?" And I was like, "Well, the Bronx." They're like, "Okay, great." um, yeah, and like also they like a lot of people mentioned that like when people go to the Bronx, they shoot it like the Joker or Gotham. Like they keep going over there for those shows. Like it's just like grimy, gritty, shitty.
yeah.
Um, and you don't get to see a story unless it's like the Get Down, like the beginning of hip hop, which is like the only interesting thing for some people.
Right.
So I wanted to add a positive story from that borough.
Yeah. And I think you did. You first of all, just shooting in the Bronx and all the kids in the buildings that were watching, you probably inspired a bunch of new filmmakers that you'll come and see to fruition in a couple of years. But it was nice to see a group of young, adolescent teenagers in this role. I grew up like you, Lost Boys, The Goonies, Stand By Me. So just to watch this from the Bronx, it's amazing, and I think you did a really, really, really good thing for a lot of people, and you'll see this. You'll see this in the future.
Thanks, man.
Um,
Yeah, that's it. That's it's that has been the most rewarding thing to like. They had me doing a Twitter watch party, which I had no idea what the hell that was. So I did that on Friday, and it was intense and stressful because I'm old enough to watch movies on my phone. So, but it was amazing to see the reaction of people, especially from the Bronx or New York City, and say stuff like, "I can't believe I'm seeing myself reflected on screen." It's amazing. It's amazing.
The tias, the moms, the way they act, going to church, like you do know the priest and they're always checking up on you. So that was very familiar to me as well. Those characters were like, is that like from your family you stole stuff from or traits?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely stuff, there's stuff all over the place. Like, yeah, stuff from my mom, stuff from my dad, from my aunts, from friends. I kind of stole from all over the place. Like the kids, all three of them have parts of my personality in a way. Yeah, I would say I stole from a lot of Dominicans for sure
Yeah.
to create that. Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed was I'm a big fan of In the Heights, love Lin-Manuel. So like you had the bodega guy with the newsy hat, and some of the shot was like on the fire hydrant, and the bodega is like a big thing in the Heights. Were you influenced by that, or was that just your way?
Let me blow your mind. I saw a cut of In the Heights uh, a few months ago. That was the first time I'd seen anything about In the Heights. So
Wow.
I had no frame of reference with In the Heights.
Wow.
And Luis is in the Heights.
Wow. Well, there you go. There you go. That's awesome. You're lucky guy.
I yes. Yeah, I'm very excited for you to see it. No, I hadn't seen it yet. I'd seen Hamilton, but I grew up in the DR, so I missed when it was on Broadway. I missed his like.
Yeah.
So and like living in New York, I moved in pre-Hamilton and then Hamilton and post-Hamilton. So like I'd never seen the musical until I saw the movie.
Okay. All right. Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Fair.
But it was after I was done.
Lots of similarities, but that's great. I mean, that's what it's about. Gentrification.
Yeah, I mean it's great that like yeah, we're adding stories to that section, to that neighborhood, to that culture, to those people. So yeah, for sure there's similarities bodega and like the use of Spanglish, but yeah, I think I think it's exciting that there's stories like that, and hopefully we get more.
Yeah, what I like that you did with it, and Zoe Saldana, Becky, when she gets the check and she goes, "Me fui para los suburbs," which means I'm leaving to the suburbs, because a lot of Latinos, I know my family, we left the Bronx like maybe 10, 15 years ago. Everyone went down south to Florida or to Connecticut and stuff like that. And I went back last year to visit an aunt, and it was just unfamiliar. The amount of new buildings and just the type of people walking down the streets and all the new shops and stuff like that. They were renaming where I come from, the South Bronx, the Piano District, which
yeah.
So I'm glad you did that, because I think people need to understand what's going on over there, whether you think it's good or bad or otherwise. We should, it's something to talk about.
I heard about the Piano District, and it's crazy. It's a wild idea.
Yeah.
And then also heard Sobro.
Sobro, yeah, that's absolutely right. Sobro. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's gonna stick though.
Right. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: what was your favorite part of this whole movie making process?
This weekend.
Watching it fruition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, yeah, and I'll probably, because I'm in that mode right now. But like, it's very hard. Everything's very hard to do. So filming was awesome, and I had a great time. But like, it was just so cool to have the movie come out and have people connect with it. So you make go like, well, it was worth me almost killing myself. And it's awesome that people connected with. So like, this is a super special time and moment. So I keep saying that so I remind myself to enjoy it. But yeah, there's so many cool things with the movie. Like when we did the makeup test, like that was so cool. Like I had Louis from SNL, Louis Sakarian. I'm not saying his last name right, correct. He's the head of makeup at SNL. He came in and helped me with those vampires and then just shooting with Meryl, shooting with Zoe. Mm-hmm. There were so many fun moments on set for sure. This has been great.
Do you have a favorite on-set moment?
I would say maybe it might be the time that the cops showed up outside the bodega because there was a night fight on the street, and they were like, and then we popped our head, and we're like, it's fine. Let's keep shooting.
That's great.
And then we also had that was just a wild night because we shot that. Has everyone seen it? Can I spoil some stuff?
No, everyone should have seen it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's the time where, just in case no one see it, the time where a certain character is the moment in the story where a certain character is killed.
Okay.
So it's a big scene, and it was a Friday night, so it was lively. It was so lively out there, and
summer, yeah.
Yeah, then we had like this group of just like motorcycles, just like I wish we were able to capture that on camera, but just like it was obviously bad for sound, but it looked crazy. Like just all those dudes just outside the motorcycle and like And then also by that time we shot like a week or two there, so like the people in the block were like, "It's cool, guys, just go back to shooting."
Wow,
like
awesome.
And we put a bunch of people like, there's a scene where like those kids steal the chair and they're making the weapons. Like you see people from the block because like we're not gonna like, they were like sitting outside. I'm not gonna like tell them to get out of the shot. Like they looked amazing.
No, that looks good. That's awesome. That's cool. Did you have one of those like a breakdown moment, like where just nothing was going right?
Every other day. Oh my god. Pick a scene. The scene where Slim bites it was intense. That tunnel sucked. It was so hot in there. Yeah. Alexis, the vampire guy, almost passed out because he had all these layers of old, the costume.
Yeah.
So almost passed out. Doing a crazy stunt that was, hard and like we didn't have that much time. And then started raining and then the tunnel got flooded. So that's just one day.
Wow. Were you guys able to finish the scene or you had to come back?
We finished the scene. It was just like a 15-hour day, but it was such a hard day and like we were almost done and then it got flooded. So it was one of those days, like it was one of those things like we were almost there and then all of a sudden it gets flooded. Wow. So it was a challenge, mostly because like shooting a movie in New York is hard, and especially if you don't have all the money in the world. So it's just it's challenging. It's challenging to shoot over there.
Was Netflix involved from the beginning, or did you have a production company and then you sold it?
Yeah, it was a Universal movie and then went to Netflix.
Okay. All right, cool. Did you have any, I'm just curious, any LAFS alumni on set?
I did not. I think a friend of mine came, Luis Sanchez. He's a LAFS alumni, and he inspired the character Luis. But
that's cool. Yeah.
I think that's. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. No. Cool. Let me ask you, because I was like looking at your Instagram and stuff like that. So the poster's now in Spanish and stuff. Did they release it like everywhere, and is it dubbed, or how are you doing that?
I'm not doing anything. Netflix did their thing. I don't know. It's worldwide, so
Wow.
it's amazing. Like, there's a French like Des Vampires de Bronx. It's awesome. Like, it's all over the country. It's really wild.
That is cool. Okay. All right. So let's go to like the people who are here because I know they have some questions. I see the chat lines going nuts. All right. Let's go here. Uh, Okay, so there's a question here that says, what differences did you notice between directing television and a feature film?
Well, I would say television. We kind of had a television schedule in a way because television is just traditionally faster than a feature
Yeah,
film, and we had a real um, um, hurried schedule for sure. Uh, I actually ended up. It was a tough, challenging shoot, but I think had because I came from SNL, which is an insane production schedule and an insane ask every
mhm.
week. I was sort of ready for these challenges. But I don't know what the difference is. But yeah, I think features, bigger movies usually tend to have a lot more time. So
Yeah,
um, yeah, I think I got derailed there. That was the question, right?
yeah. Because I'm sure SNL like you get pretty, there's a budget there to do that. You kind of go on indie style. I imagine it's a little tough.
Right. So right. Yeah, exactly. So the SNL definitely has money, but what you don't have is time. So you still have to figure.
Got it. Yeah,
You obviously you have the means, but you don't. You only have so many hours in the day, and it makes you have to be creative and problem solve quickly. So
yeah,
I brought all that to a smaller budget.
yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes total sense. All right, let's see what else we got out here. La, la, la. The title. They said so. The title coming out the month of Halloween. It's a scary title. Was that intentional? Because it's like a comedy horror thing. So, what was your intention with this title?
With the title,
Mm-hmm.
to make it exciting and direct, and to make it fun. I don't know. I had the title super early on, maybe before anything. I think
Okay.
so. I couldn't. I just like it came to my mind and it stayed there and clicked, and I was like, "That's. I think that's good. Let's
That's
go with
what
it."
it is. Yeah. I mean, it says what it is, so
Yeah,
that's good.
love it.
Somebody here has a good question, and I actually thought it was really funny. Why is Slim named Slim? And I love that it was on his jersey when he was running because he wasn't Slim.
Slim is kind of a bad joke because he's not slim. It's a big
Okay.
guy. I wish there was a smarter idea behind it, but
Yeah. Okay. Um, there's a question here. What would you say to encourage like new filmmakers trying to make it in today's climate?
wear a mask first, and I think you. Um, I am very. I feel like I'm very lucky because I working at the LA Film School. I started to make all these shorts and borrowing some LA Film School equipment. Say hi to Joe Byron. Um, so I kind of took the ethos of LA Film School as far as like I always remember getting there the first day and they give you a camera and then they're like, go do a thing by Friday. So that's sort of my advice always: go do a thing. Like just um, I think you can put yourself in a better position if you start making stuff and start learning and start making mistakes on your own. And obviously, a lot of things are needed, like connections, and it helps to be in LA, and like those things will always exist. But ultimately, you need something to show to the person that you meet at a party or whatever. Like, so I always tend to tell people to like just um, be creative, just constantly be doing stuff so that you can get better as a filmmaker because now I'm going to sound like a dad, but you have tools on your phone that you can start doing doing shorts. Like I read this interview with Richard Linklater that I thought was super interesting and encouraging, because like he started making shorts where he like decided he's like, I'm gonna make the short so I can learn how to edit. So he made a thing, and he knew it wasn't gonna be great, but like he just concentrated on editing, and he figured out how to do it. And then on one thing, he just concentrated. He's like, I'm gonna try to figure out lighting, and like just was creative in a way that sort of kept him working, and you keep generating ideas and you keep sharpening your skills. So and like me writing this movie, I didn't go to film school and study screenwriting. When I went to LA Film School, I studied directing and editing. Those were my majors. So I don't consider it, writing is very new to me. So I read books, and I went to YouTube University and just like watch all these videos and started writing. So yeah, I mean, it's I think that sort of was my path. Like we did all these videos, put them online, and learn, and from then on got bigger jobs. So that mentality is super important to me. I guess that's always my advice.
That was awesome. Are you planning a sequel for this movie?
Let's keep watching. Everybody keep watching. Everybody watch it like twice a night. Just like hit play when you go to bed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I wasn't, just because like I don't know. I didn't even know it's. I thought people were gonna like it, but it's very nice that people have responded this way. So
Yeah, and I don't want to give anything away, no spoiler alerts, but Mr. Bodega, man, like I felt a certain type of way about that, so I'm wondering if he could be in the sequel, and the new.
well, let's see. If Netflix calls one day, we could sell Zombies versus the Bronx or something. So we'll see.
I like that. You know what? You should go register that now, WGA. I have a question here from Reason Eclair, she is, I think you know Reason. She's one of the reps.
Oh, hell yeah. Hello.
Yeah. So she says that you were supposed to release this movie in December, or you had talked about that was going to get released in December. How did this happen for Halloween? October.
So the first conversation was December, and then I was like, I guess, sure. But then, yeah, then they changed their mind. It was like October. I was like, yes, that makes sense. That's great. So the first time, the first conversations, it was going to come out in December. But I think this is a better time, the October for sure. So yeah, I definitely started telling people that it was going to come out in December. I think last time I talked to you guys on the Spotlight, I had mentioned it was December. Yeah, okay. And then they moved it up, which is great. It's Halloween season. It's perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect.
It was.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or anything. Oh, from SNL, here we go. But did you have plans to like actually release this in theaters? Like, was that the plan before this whole COVID thing? Were you gonna try to do like a limited thing with Netflix in theaters?
Once Netflix bought it, I was excited that it was. Yeah, it's cool. It would be cool to show it at a theater, but also my parents saw it the same day that everybody else saw it in the Dominican Republic. That is incredible. And I have friends in Italy who saw it the same day. Like you can't put even a value to it. Like that's wild, and that's something that only happens with like Marvel movies or Tenet, nowadays. So sure, it'd be nice to see in a theater. Like I screened it a few times with people, and it was really fun to have like the reaction of a lot of people. But also, there's the other side is like access to 193 million subscribers or something like that. It's insane,
Right.
And that's just subscribers, and then then you have like the people that are borrowing the password and all that.
Yep. Yeah. No, I get it. It's just a different kind of. It's just a different day that we live now. People, but before streaming platforms, it was kind of like, no, we want to go in the theater, but now it's a theater. Now it's it's Netflix or Amazon or whatever it is, whichever platform you want to go on. Let me see something here.
I found the best one. Joe Byron. It was Antonio Monti.
Is that correct?
LAFS graduate.
Yeah. I had a question here about the music for the film.
Mm-hmm.
Did you choose that Did you work with a composer, or did you like buy rights for music?
All of those, I think. Well, there's like a score that the Blair brothers did that was it's really exciting to work with them. They've done a lot of thrillers and stuff like that. So they did a lot of the sort of vampire bootiness, but they also like did a couple stuff with some sazon. They did a couple of sections that kind of have a reggaeton beat.
Yeah.
And then I got a friend of mine, one of my best friends, make a couple cues. Like he made the music for the intro credits, and then for that section with the butter store. And then I picked a bunch of music that meant a lot to me, or that I felt like put you in that place, like the bodega music and stuff like that. And then the last track is this Kid Creole song that, you know, he's from the Bronx. And then I have a Dembow song there. So yeah, I that was sort of part of the storytelling and like the approach of the world building too. So a little bit of all those things.
I love the I forgot to mention this earlier. The cat in the bodega. My partner was like, "Why is there a cat in the store?" I'm like, "They get the mice." I'm like, every bodega had a cat. That was a very, very spot on.
Right. Yeah. It's important. We had to get the cat.
Yeah, you got the cat. All right. Jake Weber says, when writing the initial script, did you include camera movement and editing choices?
I not so much. There might have been like a moment where like trying to remember. I think there were a couple things that maybe had some camera, but I tried not to do a lot of that. But there was some stuff. I don't know why I'm blanking right now, but I feel like there was some stuff because I knew I was directing it. So, but I don't think there was a lot of it. And then as far as editing, I think there were like the section where Luis explains the Blade section where he explains sort of how vampires work. That was. I felt like I kind of saw the edit in my head and I sort of wrote to that. So that was an instance of that. But I don't remember actually. I that's a great question. I feel like because me not remembering, I feel like I didn't add too much of it because you know, every book I read they said don't do it, so I was like, I guess I won't do it.
Yeah. How did you storyboard this thing out completely?
Only a couple moments.
Okay.
Like the last fight, but actually we did a lot of photo boarding. Like we went to set, me and the DP, and used Artemis and like got really close to the shots that we wanted. So that I used a lot, and then I storyboarded the fight at the end. That was it actually. So yeah, a lot of maybe the moment where the vampire flies in the air.
Okay. Shonda has this funny question, which I loved. When the girl throws the Timberland at the vampire, was that improvised or was that original?
That is one of my favorite jokes. It was not improvised. Her lines were improvised, but that one, credit to me.
Credit to you. That was a great touch. That was really, really good. That was funny. All right. And then how was the post-production process?
Hard. It was I guess in what sense? How could I answer that?
So I guess what they want to know, how long did it take to go from, you know, rapping on set to getting this film the way we see it today?
Let's see. I had about almost 3 months to 2.5 months to edit. I forget. Almost 3 months to edit. I think the process was I wouldn't say crazy or anything. We just sort of edited the movie and then.
Were you in there every day with the editor, or did you let them like kind of do a cut and then you went and watched?
I let them do a cut, and then after a certain point, I was there a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Joe Byron has a question for you. Can you tell us of your collaborations with the DP, production designer, editor, etc.? Because it all worked so well together.
The DP was Blake McClure, who he did a lot of SNL shorts with me, like 2 or 3 years worth. So I worked with him a bunch. I met him in LA. So yeah, I wanted him to shoot the movie. And yeah, we have a great working relationship. And then the production designer, I used people from SNL, like the head of makeup and the production designer, people I've worked with a bunch over the years, making these SNL shorts. So that kind of made sense. Yeah, and the collaboration with the editor was, I kind of just, you want to hire the best person for the job and sort of let them do their thing and give them direction. So, it was cool to work with some friends in that sense too, like the DP and the production designer, people I've worked with for years. So, my wife helped me with costumes, and I had I had friends and people from SNL come out and help out. So it was a low budget movie, so I asked for a lot of favors.
That was
and
good.
People came through.
Relationships are super, super important. So,
my parents liked the movie a lot. It was very nice. They called me this weekend, and it was very sweet.
That's good. That's good. Get the seal of approval. All right, Oz, we can start wrapping this up. I mean, how do you want to inspire us tonight before you let us go?
Oh man. Okay. How do I want to inspire you guys?
Yeah. How do you want to leave us, up and
Wear a mask, vote, and keep making stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Then there you have it, everybody. Sean, do you want to jump back on?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yeah. So does anyone have any last questions before we let go and enjoy his movie premiere?
I'm about to get some rum, guys, so let's go. Wait, I was sent some questions here in the Q&A.
That's the personal ones? All right.
How intense was a 25-day schedule? It was very intense. I don't know if you saw that question that we shot over the summer, and so it's summer, the sun sets a lot later, so that was the real pain in the butt.
This is a good question. Did you have rehearsal before the shoot with the actors besides that one chemistry read?
I kind of had a day rehearsal with the kids where we sort of read the script and talked about it, and then we had some stunt rehearsal for another day. Not really, not that much.
Okay. Okay, Brittany Harris wants to know, how did you get into writing for television?
Well, I haven't. This is my first written thing, so I got into directing from shooting shorts and putting them online, and then I ended up at Funny or Die, and that led me to SNL. But the writing part is very new to me. I just wanted to tell a story that reflected me, so I just sort of did it.
Yeah. Let's see. We have another. There's another question. All right. What cameras did you use for this film?
We used the mini Alexa with the. God dang it! Hold on. Master Anamorphics. Is that what the crap is called? Mini Alexa with Master Anamorphic lenses. Yes.
Okay. Jake Weber wants to know, where can we watch your shorts?
Well, my SNL sketches are on YouTube, and then I did some stuff on Funny or Die, and then I did some older stuff that I don't want to show you guys.
I watched the Kelly Wise today. That was really good. I'd not seen that. That was really funny. I like that one a lot.
Thanks, man. That was like 20 hours or 22 hours on set. That was a wild ass day.
Wow. Where did you shoot that? That's on a soundstage, obviously, right?
Well, we shot in a well, yes and no. We shot in this soundstage called, oh my God, what's it called? Astoria? No. What's it called? The Astoria one, the Queens?
Silvercut?
No, the other one where they shoot Sesame Street. Anyway, so this stage has, somehow they have control of a block. So they kind of have a street in the middle that they control. So we knew we needed a street for the Kelly, the it parts, but then we needed to do the stage part with the television thing. So we were inside a soundstage for that to replicate Anderson Cooper's show. And then we went outside to that street, and then we shot there. And we had to wait for night too. And we had rain towers. It was wild. Oh, and then but the Kate stuff, we did that on stage because I'm not gonna put Kate in a gutter. So that was on stage. We had to rig some crazy the water stuff and put her in a pool. It was insane.
That is awesome. I liked it a lot. It looked great. Francisco wants to know, did you enjoy your time on SNL?
Tremendously, yeah. It changed my life, and I'm still part of the family. I worked on the shows during that pandemic, the SNL at Homes. Yeah, I mean, it changed my life. So it's, yeah.
All right, there you have it. And then I have one last question. And I think I kind of asked you before, maybe I didn't ask it correctly, because the film got released worldwide. Do you know if in Italy it's been dubbed already? Are they going to just do subtitles?
I don't know. I don't know.
Know?
I think my friend saw it with subtitles, so I don't know.
Okay.
I would prefer they don't, so we can keep the Dominican expressions that I squeeze in there.
Yeah. And Ernesta Mensa says that she's very proud of you.
Oh, amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Oz. I think that's about it.
Cool.
Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.